Dear Curious, the summer I was 18, I was driving down a country road with my mother when we stopped at a yard sale. There was nothing much of interest at the sale, but a moment before I was about to suggest we leave, something caught my eye. A red velvet dress, trimmed with white lace, fit for a toddler. I was pretty certain at that moment that I would never be a mother myself. Children were fine, but ultimately annoying. I wanted more out of life, and yet, ridiculously, inexplicably, I wanted that red dress. Something about it called powerfully to me. My mother picked it up. You want this dress for someday? I'm not even going to have kids. You can put it in a box, then you'll have it, whatever you decide. I don't have $1. I do. Three years later, I'd be standing in a field not far from that yard sale, holding the ashes of my mother's body in my palms. My mother was gone. The red dress was still with me, packed into a cedar box that had belonged to her. I dragged it with me all the way along the scorching trail of my 20s and into my 30s, when I had 2 children, a son and then a daughter. The red dress was a secret, only known by me, buried for years among my mother's finest things. When I unearthed it and held it again, it was like I was being slapped and kissed at the same time. Like the volume was being turned way up and also way down. The two things that were true about its existence had an opposite effect and were yet the same single fact. My mother bought a dress for the granddaughter she'll never know. My mother bought a dress for the granddaughter she'll never know. How beautiful, how ugly, how little, how big, how painful, how sweet. It's seldom that we can draw a direct line between this and that. My desire to buy the dress was made meaningful only by my mother's death and my daughter's birth. The dress was the material evidence of my loss, but also of the way my mother's love had carried me forth beyond her. Her life extending years into my own in ways I never could have imagined in the moment the red dress caught my eye. And seeing my daughter on the second Christmas of her life wearing the dress the grandmother she'd never meet bought for her, returned something to me that I thought had been lost forever. We cannot possibly know what will manifest in our lives. We live and have experiences and leave people we love and get left by them. People we thought would be with us forever aren't, and people we didn't know would come into our lives do. Our work here is to keep faith with that, to put it in a box and wait, to trust that someday we will know what it means, so that when the ordinary miraculous is revealed to us, we will be there. Standing before the baby girl in the pretty dress, grateful for the smallest things. Yours, Sugar. Thank you. I grew up obsessed with The Wizard of Oz, but it wasn't Dorothy.
I identified with. I wanted to be the Wicked Witch of the West. Sure, she was scary, but she was a boss. She had a flying broom and an army of monkeys and knew how to make an entrance in a giant poof of red smoke. And if you messed with her sister and took her ruby slippers, the Wicked Witch of the West would fuck you up. When I was 6, my mother sent me to a sleepaway camp where they produced a big musical at the end of the summer. And that year, the production was The Wizard of Oz. Acting like a witch was my place in the ecosystem of camp life, so I had no doubt that I would play the role of the witch in The Wizard of Oz. But when the director, a 16-year-old basketball counselor, posted the cast list, it was like a house had been dropped on me. According to this freckle-faced point guard, I was better suited to play the mayor of Munchkinland. It's an important role, he told me. The mayor was elected by the Munchkins because he was respected. He's a pivotal character. At 6 years old, I didn't know what pivotal meant, but I did know bullshit. No one gave a rat's ass about the mayor of Munchkinland because he doesn't do anything that matters. Does he live? Does he die? Can you remember what happened to him? I can't because no one gives a flying monkey what happened to the mayor of Munchkinland. You could write a whole new scene where the entire Lollipop Guild pulls out baby Uzis and assassinates the mayor and splatters his tiny guts everywhere. And the only way it would impact the story is that now Dorothy would have to step over a tiny dead body on the yellow brick road because nobody cares about the mayor. The witch, on the other hand, is integral to the plot. Without the witch, there is no conflict. There is no story. Nothing matters without her. Thank you.